Hi guys, James at RampantLionReviews again for you today with another beer review. For this one, as you can probably tell from the background, we're going to have a look at yet another Hong Kong beer. So for this one, we're going to go to a little place called Kwun, Tong, which is in Kowloon, the northern part of Hong Kong City, if it's right to say that, not too sure. But for this one, we're going to try my first beer from the Moonzen Brewery. So this one is called the Yama, and it's an Imperial Porter coming in at 8% ABV. And they're saying Sichuan Porter on this one, because it's brewed with Sichuan Peppercorn. So yeah, Sichuan province in China, of course, very, very famous for its spicy food. So a special shout out to my friend Ang, who is from Chengdu, which I've been told that I need to go and visit at some point. So that is on the cards. But yeah, really curious to see how this one turns out. This was another beer that was recommended to me by the guys at HK Brewcraft over on Hong Kong Island. So I really recommend you check out their shop if you get the chance. And there will be at this point a little beer shop visit recorded for you too, so make sure you check out that video. But really looking forward to trying this one. As I say, it's cool to review some of these Hong Kong beers for you while I'm here. There's about 30 or so breweries in Hong Kong, so you've got a good choice of stuff if you come here now. But really looking forward to trying this one, and as always, I hope you guys enjoy my take on this beer. So anyway, as is usual with my reviews then, I'll tell you a little bit about the brewery. If you want to get straight to the tasting, just fast forward. All the usual links are in the description below. That's the brewery website, the link to my other reviews that hopefully I can do in the future from Moonzen Brewery. Very first time I'm trying one of their beers. There's all the usual social media. If you want to see more beer reviews, do please consider subscribing to the channel. The whole channel, of course, has a geography-based tagging system, so you can go into the homepage and search for beer based on country, city, state, county, prefecture, whatever it is you're interested in. Do check out the playlist of beers from different countries. There is one there for the Hong Kong beers that I'm going to review for you, and hopefully I can add to that more in the fairly near future. And as always, please do get in touch and let me know some of the other beers and breweries you guys would like to see me review. It's always great to hear from you guys that are watching the videos, and the support that you show the channel is hugely appreciated. So anyway, to tell you a little bit about the brewery then, on to my brewery notes. So the Moonzen Brewery was founded by Laszlo Raphael and his wife Michelle Wong Raphael back in December of 2013, when they rented a very small, basically tiny industrial space in Kwun Tong in Kowloon. So Raphael had homebrewed for a number of years using doing 5-gallon batches, which if I remember correctly is about 25-30 litres if we're using the US gallon. He's originally from Mexico, so I would be guessing that they do use the US gallon rather than the Imperial gallon. But when they started the company, neither had any experience of the brewing industry, and Raphael had actually been an oil engineer working over in Tunisia, while Wong had been working at a university in Hong Kong. So in 2010, after a strong few years, they moved to a larger premises which took them from brewing 100 litre batches up to 1,000 litre batches, so they expanded their capacity tenfold. But the name Moonzen apparently comes from the Cantonese phrase Moonsan, which means door guardians, and these are often displayed at the entrances of Chinese buildings, the dragons and stuff like this, and the sort of Chinese, almost samurai-like soldiers. It's probably wrong to use the word samurai there, but they apparently got this name from the time they spent together in Beijing, which is where they met, and each of the 5 beers in their core range are named after a member of the Chinese pantheon. But as of June 2019, they've brewed 88 different types of beer, various different styles of course in there as well, and they also offer tours at the brewery and have a tasting room that opens up every Friday and Saturday. So that's all the information you really need to know about the brewery just now. We can get rid of the brewery notes and get on to the tasting of the beer. So yeah, as I told you at the start of the video, this one is an 8% Imperial Porter, and it's brewed with smoked caramel malt apparently, and also Sichuan peppercorns. The god that it's named after, apparently, in Chinese culture, from what I understand, Yama is the god of the underworld and the southern direction, and something else that's gone out of my head. So yeah, it's kind of an interesting name for the beer, I guess. But yeah, I like how this one, I like how the artwork on this one and all their beers does actually have a really similar style of artwork to it. It says on the side here, Moonzen is a family-run brewery born from our love for legendary beers and ignited by the rich tapestry of Chinese culture. Using only the best ingredients, every Moonzen beer has a story connecting our drinkers to our brewing journey. And it says on the side here, King Yama Sichuan Porter, this demon of a porter with wafts of smoked caramels and Sichuan peppercorns will set your senses on fire as you await King Yama's judgment. And it says 100% authentic and natural, all Moonzen beers are unpasteurized and unfiltered. Its superior quality is manifested in its enchanting aroma, fine bubbles and satisfying flavour. So yeah, just really lovely artwork on on this one. I have to give them kudos for their artwork. Again, I do apologise that the lighting in here isn't the best since I'm filming in my Airbnb, and there you can see the Moonzen Brewery symbol on the bottle cap there. So yeah, let's get this guy out and we'll get on with the tasting. Once again, my cousin is helping me with the bottle opening with his lighter, so let's see how we go. Alright, so we got the beer open now. Nice little bit of smoke on the opening. My cousin got a little tiny bit of it over him, but let's get it out and into the glass. And I'll tell you, when you open this one up, you get a lovely waft of smoked malts. If you've watched the channel before, you'll know that I absolutely love my smoked beers, and that started off with the Bamberg Rauch beers, of course, the likes of Schlenkerla, things like that, thanks to my old German flatmate Daniel, one of my best friends. But yeah, as you can see with this beer, and as you would expect from an Imperial Porter, this one is poured a lovely kind of dark ebony rosewood colour. There's one or two little bits of sediment just floating around in that. I'm not sure how well, again, you can see that with the light there. This is quite a big glass, this one, incidentally. This one can take a half litre of beer actually, so it's quite a big tulip glass. This one, of course, from the Jiangmen Brewery, another place that or Jiangmen Brew Pub, I should say, one place that you really need to check out if you find yourself in Hong Kong. But yeah, I think definitely fair to say this with this one, a nice dark ebony rosewood colour, a little bit of you know, a little bit of a kind of Coca-Cola, very dark chestnut edge to it. There was about a quarter finger of a frothy, I would say medium beige head on this one. One or two big bubbles sticking towards the side of the glass, and a few little ones just heading up towards the bottom of the glass there. But you know, overall it does look pretty nice and pretty much what you would expect from an Imperial Porter. So let's take a closer look at that aroma then and see how we got on. Like I said, some really interesting notes coming out of this one already. Yeah. Now, that smells really quite nice actually. I don't think I've ever had a beer that has quite this aroma to it, to be honest with you. So straight away, you can smell with this one that it has an almost really bready base to it. I'm pretty sure this is German smoked malt that's in here. You know, it's got a lovely... It's just really unusual, this one. The smokiness comes off as being quite meaty, if you like. As I've always said, being Scottish, the smokiness that I was used to originally was a more peaty, slightly earthy, grassy kind of smoke from the whiskies and stuff. But the German smokiness is more of a nice meaty note, and I'm pretty sure it will be German malts that have been used in this one. But yeah, it smells absolutely beautiful. So thumbs up to Moonzen, just for the aroma alone on this one. So yeah, above those nice meaty smoky notes, you can pick up, or mixed in with it rather, there's a nice little bit of a woodiness in there, I feel. I'd say that there's a bit of a kind of toasty bready quality in there as well, definitely a little bit of a brown bread, and that really gives the beer a smoothness to the aroma. It's really interesting, the kind of depth of aroma that you can get from this one. In honesty, I'm not smelling too much in the way of the chilies, but I'm sure the peppercorn, sorry, not the chilies, the Sichuan peppercorns that's in this one. But yeah, you can't really smell too much of a spice in this one from the aroma. On the hoppy side of things, there's a little bit of earthiness in there. There's a little bit of a very light floral kind of quality, and a little touch of grassiness as well. But I mean, you know, you can smell a little bit. If you take it in really deeply, in fairness, I'm trying to find it now, so just remember that. If you're just taking a quick whiff of it, the spiciness isn't overly obvious. I mean, the smoky notes and the almost chocolatey quality that this beer has as well, actually. And there is a touch of roasted black malt in there too. When you take it in really deeply with that roasted black malt, you can get a little bit of that kind of peppercorny note out of this one. But you know, it really comes across very nicely in its aroma, this beer. In terms of fruitiness, you might get a little touch of a kind of red fruity ester off this one, as you'll always do with beers like porters and stouts. You will always get a little touch of a very, very slightly figgy or candied strawberry note out of it. You can pick up a little bit of that here, but really the aroma of this one is leaning towards a nice smoky, bready, woody type thing here. It's a lovely aroma, this one. So as I always say, take a little bit of time and just enjoy that aroma before you get stuck in. But let's have a taste of this one then and see how we got on. So this one is the King Yama Sichuan Porter, an Imperial Porter coming in at 8% ABV from Moonzen Brewery in Kowloon here in Hong Kong. Let's get stuck in. Slàinte, skål. Now, that's a really nice beer, actually. The one thing I'd say about this is it's a little bit dangerous, because you would drink this, you would never guess that this is 8%. This is dangerously drinkable for an 8% beer, to be honest. And the spiciness is really interesting. I'm just getting a little teensy bit of it at the back of the throat. It's really nice how this beer goes together. So, you know, thumbs up to Moonzen Brewery for how this one's worked out. Yeah, I really like how this one's going together, actually, and the more that I drink of it, in fairness, the more of that spicy note I get at the back of my throat. But the other thing you're going to notice about this one is just how smooth it is. This one, to me, doesn't come across as a porter in the kind of traditional sense. It does. The porter, of course, was an English style from London mainly. I think there were different types of porters in Dublin as well, to be honest. But yeah, this one has a really nice German smoothness to the malt base, which is, as I say, quite unusual for the style. So straight away with this one, you can feel a little bit of that bready quality, just blank at the middle of your tongue. It's maybe not right to say that it's bready. It almost tastes a little bit, the black, you do pick up a little bit of that very well done black roasty malty quality. But it's almost like a very well toasted, well fired bread crust, to be honest with you. You can feel that just going right across the middle of your palate. But later on, it really kind of just smooths out a little bit. The smoky notes in the flavour are a lot more kind of infused rather than straight up and punchy, as I was expecting them to be a bit more kind of straight up punchy and out there, if you like, when I was smelling the aroma of this beer. But yeah, the way everything goes together in this one is really nice. It's definitely one of these beers where it's all about the little subtleties and how they all blend together, which is something I really like about this beer. But yeah, in the kind of centre of your palate, it's almost like you've got a ring, like a sort of horseshoe shape, just if you go inside from the middle of your palate, and the smoky notes are just lingering there almost in the centre of your palate. If you go to the very centre, there's a little bit of that kind of caramelly sweetness, but it's very minimal, to be honest. The peppercorns, the further you go into the aftertaste, you're going to feel the centre of your palate just drying out a little bit, and the peppercorny notes start to push their way out of this beer. You start to get that little bit of spice, but you're also getting that at the back of your throat too, and it's at that point as well when the smokiness and some of the black malts push their way out as well. So it's a really interesting blend of flavours, this one, from the malty perspective. And of course a porter is a more malt focused beer, if you like. But yeah, I really like how this one goes together. It's really nice, and I was a bit reluctant to take this one because, if I'm honest, I've never been a great fan of like these kind of chilly imperial stouts and stuff, and I told the guy in HK Brewcraft that at the time, but he said to me, oh, this one isn't too bad. So I was like, right, okay, I'll take your recommendation and go for it. I've reviewed a few chilly stouts actually and things on the channel over the last little while, but this one really does come across very nicely. It's just nice and subtle, to be honest. In the back corners of the palate then, there's a little bit of earthiness coming out of this one, and that builds a good bridge with the sort of peppercorns and stuff and the more roasty, toasty elements of the beer. That smooths out a little bit as you kind of come further forward along the sides of your tongue. There's not much in the way of a kind of floral note to this one. There could even be a little bit of a herbal quality there, but round the very front curve of your palate, this beer is just a little bit lighter and grassy, and then behind the front curve of the tongue, which is, as I always say, where you get that little oily bubble, where the juicy fruity esters come out of the beer, there is just a little tiny touch of a red fruity note to this one. So yeah, let's take a little look at that. So yeah, there is a little touch of a kind of, the fruity notes in this one. It's almost a little it is almost a little touch figgy. It has a wee teeny bit of a kind of almost raisiny sharpness to it, but that's very, very minimal. When you take the beer in, it gets a little bit sharp, and then it just smooths out to be that sort of figgy, almost slightly candied strawberry, fruity flavour, something like that, maybe candied blackberries. You know, there's a little teensy bit of a fruity note to this one in the aftertaste, but the further you go into the aftertaste, the sort of the sort of hot bit of it, the beer comes out a little bit. There's a bit of a roasty black malt and also some nice the bread crusty notes just sitting there as well. So yeah, this one, it's a porter that has a nice little bit of spice on the back end of it. It's not too spicy in the front of the flavour. It's more about how the kind of spiciness comes out in the tail end of the flavour. But yeah, this one gets a thumbs up from me. I wouldn't hesitate to drink this again. I would say that it's more of a treat beer rather than one you're going to session though. And I think at 8%, and when it's a dark beer as well, that much is obvious. And I probably shouldn't state the obvious with the beers, to be honest. But yeah, I really like how this one goes together. So in terms of the mouthfeel then, I would say that this beer is, it's quite mid-bodied, this one. It's a little bit heavy compared to some of the other porters that I've had. You know, carbonation's very smooth in this one. The mouthfeel overall is smooth. It's not really oily or anything like that. In terms of the malt base and the spice is just nice and subtle, but the malt base just has a little bit of a German quality to it, which is nice, and that makes the beer feel a little bit kind of smoother and stuff. But in the hoppiness, I think you're looking maybe about 40-ish IBUs at most for this beer, which is kind of, you know, about right for the porter. You will get a little bit of bitterness from it, both from the malt base and from the kind of spiciness and stuff like that, and there is just a little touch of a red fruity ester to the beer as well. But you know, overall, very, very nice beer, quite an unusual one to be honest with you, so check it out for yourself and just see how you get on. But let's leave it at that. Once again, thank you for watching my beer reviews. Until the next time, please like, subscribe, share, all the usual YouTube stuff. Let me know your own thoughts on this beer in the comment section below. Let me know what your favourite beers are from the Moonzen Brewery. It's been very cool to visit another Hong Kong brewery for you here, especially a beer that is quite uniquely Chinese in this sense. I guess it's the first porter that I've ever come across that uses Sichuan peppercorns, and I have to admit I did enjoy Ang's food when he was cooking all the Sichuan stuff. So yeah, definitely need to get up into that province in China and have a little look around and see what it's all about. But yeah, until the next time, slange it just now, and I'll catch you guys soon. This is the King Yama Imperial Porter at 8% ABV. They're describing it as a Sichuan Porter from the Moonzen Brewery in Kowloon here in Hong Kong. Until the next time, slange it just now, and I'll catch you guys later. Slange, skull.